Politics in Kenya is getting more interesting and more lively. A few hours ago, as I speak, Moses Kuria, taking to his ex account, shared out a very interesting post. Kuria, from that post, claims that Rigathi Gachagua was the person behind Uhuru Kenyatta's NORTHLAND'S farm raid, and that the whole plot was planned when Moses Kuria was present in a room with Rigathi Gachagua. I want us to have a look at the post by Moses Kuria, for the post is going to inform the basis of our analysis right now. Honorable Moses Kuria, Rigathi Gachagua has accused me during his tour of the US of funding and supporting my agenda. I am guilty as charged. I learned from the best. I was in the room when Rigathi paid the same people money to steal Uhuru Kenyatta's votes from Northlands. That's Moses Kuria speaking a few hours ago through his ex account. If you look at this post very objectively, Kuria is just trying to say that he was present in a room when Rigathi Gachagua was organizing the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's NORTHLAND'S farm. And this is not something new. This is an issue that has been in the public domain for months now. And fingers are always being pointed towards Rigathi Gachagua, Moses Kuria, and the likes of Kimani Ichung'wah. So what Moses Kuria is saying is not something new. He's just repeating what is in the public domain. I want us to dig deep into this for Kenyans to understand exactly what's happening here. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's proceed. Rigathi Gachagua is currently in the US holding some interviews and touring some states there. And most of the interviews Rigathi normally holds, he do speak in Kikuyu. Yesterday, he held some interviews where he was just speaking in Kikuyu language. So it will be of no use for me to share out the clip of Rigathi Gachagua speaking through that interview. But all in all, Rigathi made it very clear yesterday at the interview that Moses Kuria, his resigning from William Ruto's government might be a clever strategy by William Ruto to use Moses Kuria to divide the mountains vote. Rigathi went further and even claimed that the recent waves of looting that we normally see going on the mountain have all along been coordinated and planned by Moses Kuria. And Kuria has been using the Mungiki sect. Upon making those allegations, Kuria has now responded by saying his guilt is charged and that he learned from the best. He learned from Rigathi Gachagua. Kuria's remarks should not be taken lightly. Moses Kuria knows exactly what he's saying and what he's talking about. He learned from the best. He learned from Rigathi Gachagua. I've always maintained here again that when Rigathi Gachagua was the deputy president, he was the face of impunity in William Ruto's government. And for Kenyans now to see Rigathi Gachagua as their savior, someone who can offer a better alternative leadership to Ruto, Kenyans are being naive and being foolish. If today Rigathi Gachagua has power, he'll be 1,000 times worse off than William Samoei Ruto. Before William Ruto became the president, his track record was out in the public domain. But some Kenyans did assume all those. Some Kenyans thought it was just politics, that William Ruto was just being fought politically because he was against Uhuru Kenyatta's government. That's what some Kenyans said, and some believed that William Ruto was just being fought for he was against Uhuru Kenyatta's government. And some even told us, tunataka huyo mwizi wetu. Right now, Rigathi Gachagua is in the same stage where William Ruto was in. Rigathi Gachagua's track records are out for Kenyans to learn something from, but Kenyans are just making assumptions. They just think it's just politics, that Rigathi Gachagua is just being fought because he's against Ruto's government. The truth of the matter, if you look at Rigathi Gachagua's track records, Rigathi was sacked by Moi because he mishandled a relief food. That's how Rigathi was sacked. It's also true that when Rigathi Gachagua was a DO in Moi's government, he really mistreated people in areas where he ruled. All these things are out in the public domain. But some Kenyans still think those are just stories. When we say Rigathi Gachagua planned and executed the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's NORTHLAND'S farm, we are not just talking. Where there is smoke, there has to be fire. Fingers are directly being pointed towards Rigathi Gachagua. That Rigathi Gachagua planned the raid at Uhuru Kenyatta's NORTHLAND'S farm. Kenyans should not take that all these things are just stories. Kenyans should not assume that all these things are just politics, that Rigathi is being fought for attacking Ruto's government. If Kenyans won't change, then they must be ready to punish bad leaders, leaders who misuse their power when they are in positions of authority. Kenyans must learn to punish those leaders if at all they want to get good governance and good leadership in future. If the same people who are persecuting them a few years ago, they now hero worship those people, then Kenyans will just be going round in circles. Leaders, anytime they will be holding offices or anytime they will be occupying positions of power, they will be misusing those positions because they know upon leaving power, they'll incite Kenyans against the current regime, and Kenyans will forget that the people who are now pretending as their saviors were their persecutors a few years ago. And when I say this, I'm not taking sides at all. Rigathi Gachagua is worse off than William Ruto 1,000 times. And if today Rigathi Gachagua was to become the president, I don't think he will even allow Kenyans to demonstrate. And Rigathi showed that when he was the deputy president. We used to see him waking up very early in the morning, going to plan on how the police was to be very brutal with the innocent opposition demonstrators. Rigathi Gachagua has not changed. What has changed is that now he does not have power. That's why he's now pretending that he's now the Kenya's savior. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Kenyans should not sympathize with Rigathi Gachagua. If anything, Rigathi Gachagua should be punished to serve as a warning to any government official currently misusing his or her powers. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give the video a like. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.